Hi, hello everyone, and welcome to a bookshelf reorganizing session because I'm sitting in the corner of my room and behind, or actually under my piano, there are two huge piles of books that I just want to reorganize and possibly put them in my bookshelf. Hold on, my battery is running low. So, as I just said, I'd like to get rid of as much of the book piles as I can. I'm not quite sure if I'm going to be able to do that, but I'd like to, looking at my bookshelf recently, I feel like it doesn't really look like the way I would like it to, and I've read some books, so they have to go somewhere else. I have this shelf with my TBR, which is not very up to date anymore. So this is, hold on, the pile of books under my piano, and it's just grown so much over the last couple of months, and it's sort of out of control, and I'd like to reorganise all of this and put them in my bookshelf. So the current organisation is kind of a mess as well. It's very sort of individual, if you'd like to call it that. You can watch an entire bookshelf on my channel, I link it down below. And so I am rather happy with this side of the bookshelf. So you have on top here some classics in different languages, some very small sized books, and then some more sort of classics, short stories, and sort of a mix of all sorts of things, and then some French books. Then these these are Macmillan Library classics, I believe, and then crime fiction, Agatha Christie for most, and then the Harry Potter series and Cornelia Funke, which are my favourite childhood books. So, however, the other side looks like this. And what I'd like to change in particular is this shelf, which is my TBR shelf, of which I've read these two here. And then this is a shelf with many different books, different genres, that I already read, but these are Christmas books. These are children's books. And I thought I might put these up here. And I think they could match colour-wise, not necessarily genre, but, I'm just organising my books the way I like. I just organise them by colour, or by genre, or by language, or by TBR and read, whatever. So let's get started with the reorganisation. So as you can see, there are quite a few. And what I'd like to do first is to sort of organise the books back with my friends and little book club. So these are all books from the last couple of years that we read together. But there are some others in here. This one as well. And I think there are some missing. Oh, hold on, I'll have to check on my phone. So I have this list on my phone where I record all of the books that we read together. There are 14 in total, with the one that I'm currently reading, which is Dracula by Bram Stoker. I really can't believe I'm reading this book because it's one that I've wanted to read for sure, but it's also so weird and creepy, not what I usually read. But this is our 14th book actually. I'm so happy we continued. We started back in 2021. And so, it was during the pandemic, so it might just as well have been something we just did during the pandemic and then just stopped reading together, but we didn't, and so we still choose books to read together and talk about them, how we like them, the writing style, the story, etc. So it's really nice. Let me check where all the other books are. these are all the book club books, and we'll see where I can put them in the bookshelf. So these two shelves are empty now, and I also decided to not get rid, but to put these somewhere else. I mean, they're really, really pretty. I inherited them from my grandpa, but they're just taking up so much space, and I'd like to display them in a way that does them more justice. And here in this bookshelf, I think I can just use the space smarter. So as much as it hurts, because it's aesthetically pleasing in a way, I'd like to just fit more books into this bookshelf, so here we go. So another thing I was thinking about was to have a space dedicated to poetry, which means that this one would have to go. This is Emily Dickinson's entire collection of poetry. Hope is the Thing with Feathers, which I have read some poems of, and they're quite lovely. And also I was thinking of putting my creative writing notebooks somewhere else, so that would make a lot of room up here to put some other books, which I think would be good. And then I also wanted to rearrange this little basket that I have on my bedside table. So currently I have some poetry collections in here and some books I'd like to read, like essays. This is one recommended by Friend Nerd. If you don't know her, please check out her channel, she's great. Women in the Picture, Women, Art and the Power of Looking, which sounds really interesting to me. I recently read the very famous essay by Linda Nochlin, not quite sure I'm pronouncing her name right, but it was also about women artists, so why have there been no great women artists? So I thought this could certainly be very interesting. And also another one, a classic, A Room of One's Own by Virginia Woolf, that I started but I haven't finished yet. So I probably leave these in here, but what I want to do basically is to have these poetry collections somewhere else and to instead have more French books in here, because I'm half French and I'd like to read more in French, and I believe I'm trying to trick myself into reading more in French by just putting them here on my bedside table for me to see all of the time, every single day. So yeah. Okay, honestly, this is so funny because I rearranged these books chronologically. So this is the first one we read, and so on. And isn't there just like a pattern? There's a red one, then neutral coloured ones, a red one, neutral coloured red, neutral coloured red. That is crazy. I've never noticed this before. So yesterday I managed to finish rearranging my bookshelf, which you can see in the background, and I am rather happy with how it turned out. It's rather colourful compared to what it looked like before, I feel, and also especially because there are no decorations in between. It really feels like sort of a colour block thing, but I really am happy about the fact that so many more books fit into my bookshelf now, and I've still got a few books, a little stack that will go underneath the pillow. Unfortunately, I'd hoped to be able to put them all in the bookshelf, but I can't force it, and I don't want to, because I wanted to still look sort of aesthetically pleasing and not just put everything in there and force it in any way. I still want to have some decorative elements in there to just sort of break it up a bit, and yeah, overall I'm really happy with how it turned out. Let me just quickly show you again. So on this top shelf you have, I left the Jane Austen books here, but I added some of the very beautifully illustrated children's classics I have, like Frances Hodgson Burnett and Anne of Green Gables, and also a couple of other sort of colour matching books. So it's not really categorised by genre, but I just like the way it looks, you know, and I think the really cool thing about rearranging your bookshelf is that you sort of have to look for your books again. They don't just sit where you are used to, but you just actively have to search for the books you're looking for, which is really nice. And then you have this little section which is very much unchanged. I just wanted to have some white books here to have next to my Shakespeare & Company mug, and then I have this whole new section which is basically some sort of literature related to travelling, so Christie N. Jones' A Year in Tokyo, and a book about living in England, and Jersey Legends. Then I have this poetry section that goes up from here to here, which includes Mary Oliver, Emily Dickinson, and so on. Let me know if you'd like a video about poetry. I recently discovered that genre, and I am myself writing a bit of poetry, so let me know in the comment section down below. And then there are some books sort of that are not novels, you know, this is a comfort book, The Joy of Small Things, so it's all about sort of appreciating daily life. And then you have some Christmas books here, 4 of them, which I finally managed to read last year. Not all of it, but most of it, which is nice. And then, which I was just mentioning, is this shelf with, which it's so colourful, which is not a bad thing, but I think I'll have to get used to it. So you have mostly children's books from here, Winnie the Pooh up to like Little Women and Matilda, and then you have 2 books related to ballet, so Hope in a Ballet Shoe, Misty Copeland, And then going on to some teenage books here, and Jenny Colgan's, so sort of more light-hearted literature, and then some sort of a random collection of books I read in recent years and that I've enjoyed and wanted to keep. And then last but not least, you have this bookshelf, which includes, on the left there are all of the books that I read with my friends, so with our little book club, and I arranged them chronologically. So this one's the first we read together, and this is the one we read before we started reading Dracula. And then some books that are on my TBR besides these that I already read. You have Babel, Our Missing Hearts, Writer's Lovers, yeah, and also Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, which I've been wanting to read for such a long time because I heard so many great reviews about it, but here we are, still unread in my bookshelf. And so the last thing that I'd like to do is to rearrange the little basket on my bedside table, which, as I said yesterday, I'd like it to contain French books exclusively because I'm half French and I'd like to read more in French because I live in Germany. Gosh, this is really complicated. Anyway, I'd like to read more in French, and so I thought, why not fill this little basket with French books that I'd like to read during the next couple of months, just to sort of have this, you know, present in my mind. And so let's pick out the books that I'd like to read. So there is one that didn't fit in the bookcase, my bookshelf anymore. Intrigue à Venise, which is the third book in the series, which is basically crime fiction meets art history with a female protagonist, which is really nice and well written, well researched, because I believe the author is a historian himself. So this will definitely go in my little book basket. Then I have this Japanese novel, Park Life, by Yoshida Shuichi. I'm not quite sure I'm pronouncing this right anyway, and it's a very short sort of little story about, or are these multiple stories about happenings in this park. So on this side I have my stack of French books, and there is one my mum gave to me, which is also another translation from Japanese, from Hiro Arikawa, which I believe also is the author of the Travelling Cat's Chronicle. And so there's another one by this author that I'd like to read. Something else in this book pile is Arsène Lupin. This is the first one in the series, which I read. This is the first book that I read this year, and I really enjoyed it. And so, as French books are rather cheap compared to German or English ones, I decided to order the next 2 or 3 in this series. So I believe that this one is the second one in the series, or maybe it isn't, hold on. Or it might be. This is the third one, I'm quite sure. L'Aiguille Creuse, which is set in Normandy, which is where my French family is originally from. And maybe this one's the second one, I think. I wrote it down, I should check. Then there's also Colette, which I never ever read, but is very famous and well known, even outside of France. So I think it's been like a year or 2 at most ago that I watched the film with Keira Knightley, which was nice, interesting, and this made me want to read one of her books because it's such an important author in the French canon. So this is what it looks like now. It doesn't look like it has changed much, but it's important to me to have these books at hand and to remember the books that I have in French to read. So that's really nice, and yeah, overall I think it was a good idea to just change things up a bit. You just need that from time to time, and yeah. Oh, and these are the books that I'll have to put under piano again, but you can see that this stack was considerably reduced in size, so that's a nice thing. So thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you very soon. Bye bye.